Hello everybody, this is Z with the T, and I want to do story time today, and it's about a case that happened in Louisiana. And as you know, I'm from Louisiana, so I want to talk about this case from Louisiana, and it happened in New Orleans, Louisiana. So the case is about Antionette Frank. Antionette Frank is the only female. Now she's the only female and the only black female on death row in Louisiana. It had another person on death row, Brandy Holmes, but she's not on death row anymore. They commuted her time to life in prison. So Antionette, she's the only one on death row by herself. So as a little girl, Antionette wanted to be a police officer. You know, when you're growing up, you want to be like, oh, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. That's how it was when I was growing up, you know. So as growing up, she wanted to be a police officer. Antionette, you know, her dad, he was in and out her life. You know, he wasn't there as a stable father in her life. He's in and out, you know, and that messed with her like bad. You know, some people do, some people don't. But with Antionette, it messed with her. She had to go see a psychiatrist. You know, it wasn't good for her. So as she got older, she went and applied to be a police officer, like she wanted to always be, in New Orleans, Louisiana. On February the 7th, a day after my birthday, 1993, she applied to be a police officer in New Orleans, Louisiana. So, took the test. She graduated February 28th, 1993. And she lied. She lied on her application. You know, she said she didn't have anything mental going on with her. Knowing you before, I told you she went to go see the psychiatrist and she had problems. So she lied. They knew she had lied on her application, but she still graduated. She still became a police officer. So after that, she sit there. She's on call, you know, she gets a call. November the 25th, she gets a call, 1994. So happened a person gets shot. This person, his name is Robert Lacasse. He had to go to the hospital. Robert Lacasse, I don't know, I guess, you know, she had to go there, sit with him at the hospital. As they sitting at the hospital, you know, he had to get, bandaged up and stuff like that. They grew a relationship. Antionette is 23 at the time. Robert Lacasse is 18 years old. He's a child, you know. So she really liked him. They started dating. She was infatuated with Robert Lacasse to the point to where this is a criminal. He's a drug dealer. She is letting this criminal drug dealer ride around in her police car, pulling over people, stopping people, making it seem like they're doing a traffic stop, taking their money from them, like, you know, all types of stuff, you know, like just, you know, and they at that time they, you know, they think that it's funny, you know. So as they doing stuff like that, you know, it was just like stuff that you don't supposed to do as a police officer. Antionette was doing everything, you know. And at that time, you know, as police officers, they have, you know, duty or detail that they do, meaning that, like, you know how you have police, they sit outside bowling alleys, or they sit outside, you know, like daiquiri shops and stuff like that. That's called detail. That's where they make they most money at, doing detail. So she was sitting out there doing detail, and she had this particular detail. It was a Chinese restaurant called Kim An. She did detail for them. Everybody knew, you know, Antionette, because she did detail. She also had a partner named Ronald Williams. He did detail too, but so happened this night, Antionette didn't have to do, you know, she didn't have to do detail. It was Ronald's day to do detail at the restaurant. So they grew up along with Antionette, you know, so they was closing early that night, and she had went there and got food. She went and got food there. It was March the 4th. She went and got food, and she had went there like twice already. So, you know, but, you know, they know who she is, so it's not a problem for her to go back and forth, you know. But that third time she come back, and as they closing down, the daughter of the owner of the restaurant, Cho was counting the money because they closing down, you know. She's counting her money. So she's like, what's wrong, you know? She done been here twice already. Why she's coming back, you know? Something not right. So she looked, you know? So she went and she hid the money. She just pushed the money in the microwave because she sensed something wasn't right. She put the money in the microwave, and as she did that, Antionette had stole a key from the other two times that she came there. She stole the key to the front door, and she come in and she pushed her. And as she coming through the front door, going to the back of the building, as she pushed Cho, Ronald William got up, you know, her partner who was doing the detail. It was his detail that night. He got up and he was like, hey, you know, what's going on? And all they hear is gunshots ring out. Now, it was Cho in the restaurant, Cho's brother, and another employee. They ran into the cooler. When they heard the gunshots, they ran to the cooler. Cho had another brother and sister, Hong and Chong. They was in the restaurant still because they was mopping and sweeping in the, you know, in the lobby area. So they, you know, they hiding in the freezer because they heard gunshots. That's when Antionette shot her partner, Ronald. So they like, you know, where my brother and sisters at, because they know now, you know, Antionette and Robert Lacasse, they are robbing the restaurant. So where they seen their brothers and sisters at last in the lobby sweeping and mopping, they hear Antionette saying, where's the money, where's the money? And Cho's brother and sister, Hong and Chong, said, I don't know where the money at. You know, they don't know where the money at because, like I said before, Cho had just threw the money in the microwave because she, you know, she was scared because of like, why Antionette, this is her third time coming here. So she just pushed the money in the microwave and he ran it to the microwave. So she was like, what the money at? They hear her screaming at their brother and sister saying, where's the money? They said they don't know where the money at. So mind you, Antionette and Robert, guess what they did? Yeah, they shot them. They shot them and pistol whipped them. After that, they see them instead of looking around looking for the money, but not one time did they look in the microwave. Didn't look in the microwave not one time. So, okay, she's scared now, you know, because she didn't see her do this to the police officers, and she didn't hear more gunshots after they asked where the money at to her brothers and sisters. So she hear Antionette and Robert Lacasse leave. They leave the restaurant. So mind you, she have a phone. She's trying to call 911. She can't call 911 because, you know, back in the day, they ain't have no service good like that to where sometimes now these days you can barely even call in the freezer. So after she heard them leave, she ran next door to call the police. She called for help. So, okay, she called for help. Now, mind you, Antionette is a police officer. So she gets the call too. Even though she's off duty, she's in her police car. She gets the call. And guess what? As Antionette and Robert Lacasse leaving the scene, they get the call about they got leaving witnesses at the restaurant. Yeah. So she dropped Robert Lacasse off at some projects in a nearby area. And guess what? She goes back. She goes back to the scene. Like, how bold are you to go back to the scene? She goes back to the scene. She do. And it had people on the scene already. So she was like, hey, well, you know, what's going on, you know? And she's trying to, you know, see, do they know, you know, what's going on yet? Or, you know, have anybody said anything? But, you know, they didn't say anything. So she walked over to Cho. She had a nerve to walk over to Cho and was like, hey, what's going on? Cho didn't say nothing to her. She ran over to another officer and said, hey, this is the person that did this to my brother and sister. So mind you, the police, they get Antionette. They take Antionette to the headquarters. They talk to her. And she you know, she admitted it. She's like, yeah, I did it. She admitted it. Robert Lacasse come down. He even admitted it. Yeah, he did it. So Antionette, they was found guilty September the 5th. They was found guilty, 1995. Antionette had over 40 witnesses at her trial. Robert Lacasse, July the 17th, right before her, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. Antionette, October 20th, 1995, she was sentenced to death. And it's crazy because, you know, the laws done changed now. You know, Robert Lacasse, he was 18 when the murder happened. Antionette, she's still on death row. And Robert, he don't have a death sentence anymore. He have life in sentence. He have life, you know, in jail now. He don't have a death sentence anymore. So she's the only one that's still have a death sentence, and he have life in prison now. And this just happened 2 years ago that it went back to where he don't have a death sentence. But Antionette, like I said earlier about her dad, you know, her dad in 1993, her dad come live with her for a while. He come live with her for a while. And a year before, you know, the shootings happened at the restaurant, she did a missing report about her dad, that he's missing. They can't find her. A month after she got a death sentence, guess what happened? They find human remains under her house with a bullet hole in the head. I don't know why, but for some reason they never went back and try to, you know, see who the person who the skull was, you know, who it belonged to. I don't know why. I guess they have a good, you know, idea that might be her dad, but they never, you know, went into depth or try to figure out who this skull belonged to. It was found under, you know, Antionette's house. But Antionette, you know, I don't put everybody in my business, but this part of the story time, you know. Antionette is in LCIW. Well, she was in LCIW, but, you know, since the flood, there's no more LCIW. You know, I think she got transferred to Angola, I want to say. But Antionette was on death row. I had to go to St. Gabriel, so I went there. And you hear about the famous Antionette Frank that's on death row. She was, I think, on a purple block, death row, purple block. Yeah. So, mind you, Antionette, she's on death row. And death row all the way in the back. Leo and LCIW, death row lockdown, it was called the Leo building. So, she don't come out for nothing. When I tell you nothing, I got a glimpse of her one time. When I tell you, beautiful woman. You see how my hair is? Antionette hair is like this, but it's curly and thick. Curls. Long, curly hair. You know, she had a black belt. When Antionette, one day, I'll never forget, when I was at St. Gabriel, Antionette, she had to go to doctor call. It was a doctor call, something that she had to do a call out for. She had to do call out. And you know what happened when she come out? Like, you know, and it goes back to like the Green Mile. You know how they be like dead men walking. That's, for some reason, that's the only thing I think about. But they called us. Like, you know, when something happened like that, that's how I know, like, she must be about to come out on the compound. When Antionette come out for death row and she have to go to doctor call or anything, they lock the whole prison down. 1,000 to 1,200 women. It's locked down. Nobody moved. When she come out, everyone have to go to their building, their dorm, and their room and stay there until she's not on the ground anymore. She go to doctor call. You see at least like 12 men and women, you know, escorting her from lockdown. When I tell you she's locked down, coming from back there, you would think that, like, she did, like, and she's not that big. She sits there and exercises all day long. So she's not that big at all. So when she come out, they have her locked down. And I was looking out the window one day as, you know, they bringing her out, because I was in Libra. They was bringing her out, and Libra is like Leo right here and Libra right here. So they bringing her out. So I'm looking, because I'm very nosy. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God. Because, you know, I done heard stories, and I even had this book, the book about her, Killer with a Badge. When I came on that compound, I had that book. They told me that book cannot even be on compound premises. I don't know why, but they made me throw the book away. They don't even have the book in the library. It can't be on the compound. But when I see them bringing her out, and they went right to the infirmary where she was going. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, like somebody famous that you've been wanting to see, because I've been wanting to see her. You know, people talked about her and I wanted to see her, but it was like a normal person. But she told the warden that day, she said when she ever gave that life sentence back, she was gonna break her neck. That's what she said she was going to do. And I'm like, why would you tell them people that? You know, you already in jail for this. But yeah, like it was just crazy because, you know, I actually got to see this famous Antionette, you know, and it's like, you gotta be, it's crazy because like you have to sit there and have to be going crazy. You sit in a cell all day, come out probably for 30 minutes to an hour to work out, and you go right back. I mean, she talks to somebody. I don't know who she talks to in jail, you know, on the phone, but someone that she is, you know, communicating with, because she buy phone cards in jail, you know. So I don't know who she talks to, but somebody is keeping in contact with her because she was buying phone cards, you know, talking to someone, you know, in jail. So I'm like, I wonder, you know, I wonder who she talking to. But I just wanted to tell that story because, you know, it's like, from me being from Baton Rouge and this happening, and by me being in prison with Antionette and I'm seeing her, you know, it was just like shocking, because it's like this person that you heard so much about, it was like a monster, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you see Bigfoot or something, it's like, whoa, like this really Bigfoot, because like, you know what I'm saying, like they talked about how big, you know, how she was, and you finally see this person. And it's just like, you know, and she didn't look to where you wouldn't even think that she would even do nothing like that, the way she looked now. But I can tell the way they had her locked down and how them 12 men and women had her, you know, surrounded as they walking her from the Leo building to the infirmary. You can tell. And how they sit, you know, how they had us, everybody. Like when I tell you they stopped work, they stopped. It didn't matter if it was lunch. They stopped us from eating and they made us go in our room, because we could not at all come in contact with her at all. Like when I tell you, nobody is going to be on premises with her at all. Or if she ever had to come out in emergency, the prison getting locked down. Like I said, again, the prison will be it will get locked down. But I just wanted to tell you that story about, and you know, Antionette Frank, because, you know, she's the only female on death row in Louisiana, and she's a black female, you know. And it got this, you know, and Robert Lacaze, you know, just 2 years ago, he gave his sentence back, but he was only 18 at the time when this happened. Antionette was 23, you know. So, and then it was a police officer that they did that to. So yeah, but I will like everybody, and I thank you. Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for clicking on my channel. And the next case that I will be doing is going to be another story time about another person that I was in St. Gabriel with, and so happened she's from Baton Rouge too, and it will be the Trendell Matthew case. And this case, y'all, and I'm not saying it because I want y'all to watch it, but it really touched me. It really touched me. If you have kids, it really touched me. And but it's gonna be good. So I want y'all to please subscribe to my channel, so when you see I post something else, to go to my channel and watch it, share it, and tell your friends to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I want to say thank you, and thanks for watching Z with the T.